The year is 2025. Britain stands at a precipice. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has delivered a speech that will echo through Whitehall. His message was clear: the United Kingdom must prepare. This is a fundamental shift, a declaration that the peace dividend is over. Starmer outlined plans for a significant overhaul of Britain's defense capabilities. It is a direct response to a global stage increasingly beset by turmoil. The world stage in 2025 presents a grim tableau, one that heavily influences Prime Minister Starmer's defense calculus. The brutal attritional war in Ukraine serves as a constant, bloody reminder that conventional warfare on European soil is no longer a relic of history. Russia's aggression has shattered any lingering illusions about a post-Cold War era of perpetual peace. This conflict has exposed critical deficiencies in Western military stockpiles and industrial capacity, a lesson the UK government appears to have taken to heart. Beyond Europe, the Middle East remains a tinderbox of ancient rivalries and modern grievances. Proxy wars, state-sponsored terrorism, and the ever-present threat of nuclear proliferation create an unstable environment with global repercussions. Britain, with its historical ties and ongoing strategic interests in the region, cannot afford to ignore these simmering conflicts. At the heart of Prime Minister Starmer's ambitious defense overhaul lies a commitment to tangible assets, new missile bases and a significant expansion of ammunition production. The proposal for new missile bases on British soil is perhaps the most striking element, harking back to an era many believed was long past. These facilities would likely house advanced long-range strike capabilities intended to provide a powerful deterrent against potential aggressors. The exact locations and missile types remain subjects of intense speculation and, undoubtedly, considerable local concern. Alongside these new bastions of deterrence, the plan calls for a renaissance in Britain's ammunition manufacturing capacity. Decades of underinvestment and a focus on leaner, just-in-time supply chains have left the UK, like many Western nations, with critically low stockpiles. The war in Ukraine has brutally exposed this vulnerability, demonstrating that modern conflicts consume munitions at an astonishing rate. New factories and the revitalization of existing ones are deemed essential not just for replenishing current stocks, but for sustaining the kind of high-intensity warfare that can no longer be dismissed as a remote possibility. This is about industrial resilience as much as military might. While new missile sites and ammunition plants capture headlines, Starmer's defense vision extends far beyond these terrestrial assets. A critical component remains the Royal Navy's submarine fleet, particularly the nuclear deterrent submarines carrying Trident missiles. Continued investment in the Dreadnought-class submarines, which will replace the Vanguard class, is non-negotiable, forming the ultimate guarantee of UK security. Furthermore, the Astute-class attack submarines are vital for protecting these deterrent patrols, gathering intelligence and projecting power beneath the waves. The Silent Service, as ever, plays a pivotal role in the nation's defense posture, operating at the unseen frontiers of global security. The digital domain is another key battleground addressed in the new strategy. Cyber warfare capabilities are being significantly enhanced, recognizing that future conflicts will be fought as much in cyberspace as on land, sea, or air. This involves bolstering the National Cyber Force, a partnership between the Ministry of Defense and GCHQ, to conduct offensive cyber operations and defend critical national infrastructure from digital attack. Investment in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and other emerging technologies is also prioritized, ensuring the UK Armed Forces maintain a technological edge over potential adversaries. Section 5. Counting the cost, the economic anvil of rearmament. The ambitious defense overhaul proposed by Keir Starmer's government carries a hefty price tag, a reality that cannot be ignored. Committing to new missile bases, ammunition factories, advanced submarines, and cutting-edge cyber capabilities will necessitate a significant increase in defense spending, likely pushing it well above the NATO target of 2% of GDP, perhaps closer to 2.5% or even 3% in the coming years. This represents billions of pounds diverted towards the military, a decision that will inevitably spark intense debate about national priorities and fiscal responsibility. The question on many lips will be, where will this money come from in an already strained economic climate? Financing such a substantial rearmament program presents a formidable challenge. The government faces unenviable choices: raise taxes, increase borrowing, or make deep cuts to other public services. Each option carries its own set of political and social risks. Tax hikes are rarely popular and could stifle economic growth. Increased borrowing adds to the national debt, a burden for future generations. Section 6. The home front, societal shifts and anxious hearts. The government's renewed focus on national defense, particularly the establishment of new missile bases and ammunition factories, will inevitably ripple through British society, creating both support and unease. For communities situated near proposed new military installations, the impact could be significant. While some may welcome the economic benefits of job creation and local investment, others will voice concerns about safety, environmental impact, and the very presence of such facilities in their backyard. The prospect of living near a missile base, a tangible symbol of military preparedness, can be unsettling, evoking memories of Cold War anxieties for older generations and raising new fears for younger ones. Public opinion on the necessity of such a buildup is likely to be divided. Many will accept the government's rationale, viewing enhanced defense as a prudent response to a more dangerous world. Section 7. A divided kingdom, voices for and against the new armor. The government's ambitious defense strategy, spearheaded by Prime Minister Starmer, has predictably ignited a spectrum of opinions across the United Kingdom. Supporters, often found within military circles, conservative think tanks, and among those who prioritize a strong national defense, view the plans as long overdue and absolutely essential. They point to the stark lessons from Ukraine, arguing that deterrence requires credible military power and robust industrial capacity. For them, the new missile bases and ammunition factories are not provocations, but prudent safeguards in an increasingly hostile world. Conversely, a significant chorus of dissent has emerged from various quarters. Peace campaigners, anti-war activists, and certain left-leaning political groups vehemently oppose the increased militarization. They argue that such a buildup risks escalating international tensions, potentially triggering an arms race and making conflict more, not less likely. Critics also highlight the immense financial burden, contending that these billions would be better spent on addressing pressing social issues like poverty, healthcare, and climate change. They question the narrative of inevitable conflict, suggesting that diplomacy and international cooperation offer more sustainable paths to security than a renewed focus on military hardware. Section 8. Britain on the world stage. A resurgent power or risky gamble. The decision by Keir Starmer's government to significantly bolster the UK's military capabilities will inevitably reshape Britain's standing on the global stage. For allies, particularly within NATO and partnerships like AUKUS, this move will likely be welcomed. It signals a renewed commitment from a key European power to collective security and burden sharing. A more capable British military enhances the overall strength of these alliances, providing greater conventional deterrence against potential adversaries like Russia, and contributing to stability in regions like the Indo-Pacific. However, for nations outside these alliances or those with whom the UK has strained relations, the perception might be different. An increase in British military might, especially the development of new offensive capabilities like long-range missiles, could be viewed as a provocative act. It might fuel existing suspicions and contribute to a regional or even global arms buildup, as other nations feel compelled to respond in kind. The delicate balance of power is easily disrupted, and while the UK's intent may be defensive, its actions could be interpreted differently by those who see Britain as aligning too closely with American foreign policy or pursuing its own neo-imperial ambitions. Section 9. The long road ahead. Sustaining security in a perilous age. The path charted by Prime Minister Keir Starmer, one of significant military reinvestment and heightened readiness, is undeniably a long-term commitment. The new missile bases, ammunition factories, and advanced naval assets are not quick fixes, but generational undertakings. Their true effectiveness will depend not only on their initial implementation, but also on sustained funding, technological adaptation, and the political will of successive governments. In a world where threats evolve rapidly, maintaining a credible deterrent and a technologically superior fighting force requires constant vigilance and a willingness to adapt strategy and spending priorities over many decades, not just a single parliamentary term. One of the most critical considerations for the future will be the human capital required to support this enhanced military posture. Attracting, training, and retaining skilled personnel from engineers and cyber specialists to infantry soldiers and submariners will be an ongoing challenge.